Players that will give you a huge advantage in fantasy football till death. That and more this week in Out in Space with Evan Simmons. Just to get us started, a little update on the Ken side of the podcast. It is official. I will be drafting in Taiwan this year. So, Luke, I'm going to need some receipts that you're actually at fucking practice because Dom, I'm pretty sure you're going to be there in person in Temecula. But, Luke, I need a screenshot or maybe like a live call from Naomi or something. And that all got kicked off with a job offer that I accepted on Monday. Ken's going to be working in the power industry up in the mighty Pacific Northwest, putting that electricity from the dams to use. Evan Simmons, 21 wins over the last 3 years. That is higher than Mr. Springfield himself, Ben, Hunter, Sam, and Jay. Despite your win-loss success, you rank the 11th in points scored in that same time period, and you're right in the middle of the pack when it comes to points against. How do you feel like you stack up against the rest of the league in this auction era?
I think I stack up just fine against the rest of the league in this auction era. You know, I feel like each year I definitely draft. I always have a decent draft that kind of gets me through the year. Maybe I'm not making a lot of plays throughout, but I always have some solid pieces that I can use or trade. And it seems like since I've been in this league, even though I've had a lot of bad teams, I always have a striking distance to the playoffs, not to the championship by any means, but at least to the playoffs. I feel like every year within the last three division games, I feel like I'm always up, like have a chance. So at least it's fun and exciting. And it's not just like, where you have those seasons where you're just completely out, which, I mean, maybe you don't know that. You were 0-7 last year and still weren't even completely out, for a while. So, but yeah. And then also, I wanted to say congratulations on the power message job. That's sick. That's very sick.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it all happened really fast. I interviewed on Friday. They gave me an offer on Monday and negotiated those suckers up a little bit and pulled the trigger. So, yeah, and on your point with being with the league for a while, you've been with us for 6 years now, Evan. So we're on the better side of a decade. You've been with us since the auction era, and again, much to Hunter's chagrin, he doesn't like it when I draw that sign on land, that line in the sand. Even though auction is arguably the much more difficult format, and there's a much higher skill ceiling. And if I'm not mistaken, you've made 4 playoff appearances, and Hunter has put up a big old gooser in that same period of time. So
I voted no for auction. I was in the draft. I was on the offensive clinic. I remember offensive clinic. I think I lost to him twice that year, which kind of dug me a hole to climb against wins loss columns against Griffin. But I voted against it. Even though it makes way more sense, I'm so glad we did it. There's just a change in everything, Snake draft is easy. Pick the best player that's right there. That's the top 3 guys that even tells you, like it's pretty straightforward. But this just makes so much more sense. And I love, my favorite part of the auction, having the opportunity to go see who you like and go get your guys. That's Absolutely. What I like to try to do. And I get other people's where they try to, try to get deals on people and see them going for less than what they value them for and kind of go in. But I just like getting my guys and going for them,
Absolutely. You're a shooter. Maybe a straightforward or not so straightforward question. Oceanside, Boise, Idaho. What place in your heart do these cities hold?
I mean, they hold a lot. Definitely, honestly, Boise a lot more than Oceanside. Okay. For me, that's, once I moved from Oceanside, I was really sad until I met some really good friends, and I just realized, I may not even know those people, but I realized it's not a place, it's people. Yeah. So having family here is nice, not having to travel, I guess, but it's nice having family around, local support, and Boise's pretty awesome. I love it. It's nice to get out of and fun to travel for weekends, other places. Going to San Diego on vacation is awesome. I'm so glad. Makes it pretty easy having my cousins or Thomas, and it's nice to see the beach, get away. Yeah. But Boise's like home for sure.
All right, well, give us a favorite memory from Oceanside, and then we'll roll into Boise and give us a perfect day in Boise after that Oceanside memory.
Yes, but I did want to let all the viewers know, in honor of Out in Space podcast, I did take about 15 minutes ago. I took a 100 milligram edible to truly blast out in space. So once you feel like you think it's kicking in, I want you to hit that like button on the.
All right.
Like and subscribe down there, and we'll see.
Allegedly took 100 milligrams. Got it.
And allegedly. Oh yeah, and I forgot this is going on YouTube. Oh man.
No, we're good, man.
I'm gonna run for president one day, and then we're bringing this up in the archives. But
yeah.
Favorite memory in Oceanside, it's just got to be a collective of memories of just having a lot of good times with friends. You know, we were always between a couple neighborhoods. In the neighborhood, I had like 3 or 4 good friends, and we were at the same age. Always screwed around, walking park, playing Smear the Queer. Always bikes, skateboards,
Pokemon,
scooters.
Yeah.
What?
Pokemon, right? Gotta throw that in there. Yeah.
A lot of Pokemon. And the games was a fun aspect too. Pokemon, big time, RuneScape, Gran Turismo, just late nights with the boys, drinking Mountain Dew, junk food. No responsibilities, nothing to worry about. You don't have rent, anything coming on. You don't have to go to work tomorrow morning. You're just living life, enjoying, and that's what I miss. At least I'm glad I had a great, awesome, fun childhood and in Oceanside, and I feel like it was perfect to make me the person who I am today. And when I came to Boise, I'm glad. Boise's weird. It's like my high school had 1 black person in all of Boise, so it would have been weird, like growing up and kind of just not like kind of more sheltered environment instead of like I was seeing crazy stuff happen at just MLK. There was more people that went to MLK than went to my high school in Boise. So there's just like a lot more diversification. And so it was cool getting that early in life, but then still being able to come over here in Boise and run these scrubs out here.
All right, so say you got the week cleared out, Evan. You've got nothing on the schedule. What's your plan for the perfect day in Boise?
Perfect day in Boise. I would probably have to say I've been picking up fly fishing recently, so I'd probably have to say hit the Boise River nice and close, do some fly fishing, catch a few. Then I would probably come home and meet up with my boy Eric and someone to go to Koa, maybe hit the Koa rooftop and survive. Get some steaks, have a few cocktails, meet a beautiful girl. She's like, hey, you want to go downtown? I'm like, how about we skip downtown, hit my place? And she says, yes. I'm like, that's kind of, and then we take it back, bust out some margaritas, turn on the TV lights, turn on the back porch lights, kind of set the mood a little bit.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, that's a perfect day over here in Boise.
All right, well, thanks for painting that picture for us. Another thing that you've been painting is the sales streets out there in Boise, Idaho. As a salesman, the time-honored craft. Give us some insights into a few tricks of the trade you've picked up in the last few years, Ev.
A few tricks to the trade, man. So I think, for me, it's all about customer focus. And if you're there for your customers and you're someone they can rely on, then they're going to want to repeat and come back to you, even if your price is a little more. If you're dependable, that's how you really lock in your clients year over year to earn their business. And that and also never give up. Like you can't shy away from things. Even if a conversation is going to be difficult, you got to get in there and have it and ask for the business no matter what.
Well, thanks for all the nuggets, Evan. Let's take a step forward into auction psychology. One of the things that separates auction from snake, like you were saying, snake, you just take the best player available when it's in front of you. Auction is a lot more like no limit poker, which is something that our group knows more than just a little about. So if we're going to take the angle of looking at auction like poker in the friend group, who would you say is your strongest player, or maybe even who's your favorite poker player in the group?
Well, my favorite poker player in the group, It's been a while since I played poker with everyone. It has been a while, a long time. I definitely remember Thomas being very good. I definitely remember Graham being good. I feel like Thomas does take his poker playing to the table when it comes to kind of being patient and playing on the hands that you're dealt. But I also feel like Thomas always goes for big guns. You notice that a trend. He always likes going for big guns. And I also feel like it's also your play style. Like certain people are just ballsy and love to go all in, high risk, high reward type deal. Like Jay and Brendan, I want to say, are kind of more like ballers, guns out, aren't afraid to go Gatling gun someone down and go and get their guys. And they might end up spending a lot of money in the meantime and maybe have to fill out a lot of $1, $2, $3 guys. But you know what? They're going to have someone to start out there that's going to be strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about a strength, if we're looking at a center build, the salary cap gives us 200 to start with. And so if you take that 200 and split it evenly, 10 QB, 10 tight end, and you got 90 for each of the running back and wide receiver, are you more likely to go real heavy and just grab 2 backs at 45, or are you going to split that down a little bit more? Give us your approach. And for our format specifically, a few years back, we've switched to our 3 wide receiver format. So does that 90-90 split between the running back, wide receiver sit right with you, or is that 3 wide receiver format something that wants you to push that spending more towards the wide receiver side?
Maybe last year I was thinking I pushed it more towards the wide receiver side. It did not work out. I feel like there's a lot of wide receivers on the waiver wire that are startable good in your flex, and nothing whatsoever on running backs, not even close. And it's honestly, it's tough. That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot of my not picking people up. It's like I'm picking up these trash people that aren't even going to be close to being worth starting. Like they're like three people getting injured away from starting, and it's like might as well keep my guy. That's maybe it could be worth some sort of trade piece or something instead of getting this trash. But I do not on this split. I see how you have the $10 QB, 90 RB, 90 wide receiver, $10 for tight end, and that makes sense. However, me personally, I do not like to go. I like a strong, dependable quarterback. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, your Joe Burrow. I want a strong quarterback that's going to go out there, not someone whose starting job is kind of maybe on the fence, or I don't want to be looking at different matchups and finding what quarterback I want to get. I want a quarterback that's going to start, and I have one time that I have to replace him. And then when it comes to RB, I do not. I think even split is pretty good, and still kind of maybe heavier a little bit towards the RB. Like I said, you can go get a bunch of wide receivers for RBs, or a dime a dozen out here, especially in this league. And then tight ends, I feel like the years I've always done good. Like I went out and paid for Travis Kelce. I went out and paid for George Kittle. Like I like having a good tight end spot, but at the same time, you can easily stream tight ends that get the same amount of points as your George Kittles, your Mark Andrews, your Sam Laportas. They both get 8 points. It's like, what, you paid 38 for yours, and I paid $1 for mine. It's like, that could easily happen for sure. So, but I think I might spend a little more than $10 on a tight end. Just because I'm freaking crazy.
Yeah, that's not hard to see, Evan, sometimes in the draft rooms. But back to your point, we'll go back and touch on that transaction bit, because I think that's a super important point. Us dropping that bench spot this year and the availability of players on free agency is going to make a big difference, right? And then, and back to your point about liking to have that reliable QB, and then you're also not afraid to spend a tight end. Generally speaking, if you go heavy QB, heavy tight end, then you end up suffering at one of the other 2 positions, right? From personal experience, I can tell you, right? Last year I went heavy QB, heavy tight end, decided to continue to spend on wide receiver, and then was rolling out bombs at the running back position and was really struggling, right? So you can kind of pick or choose going QB or tight end, but you can't really do both without sacrificing another part of the position. Do you have anything you want to say on that, or do you want to jump into the transaction bit and the benches?
I agree with you. I'm down to jump in.
Okay, so let's just touch base with your activity last year. So back to the idea that there should be a high amount of transactions for our strong players. You had 23 ads, which was slightly below the average of 40. You were right there with 9 bids on fab players. The average was 10. And then you were pretty far below the market with 2 trades, with the average being five. Do you feel like that's just like a 1-year sample size of how you behave? And if we went back and extrapolated past years, you might be a little bit more active? Or do you feel like this season is going to show a different side of Evan?
This season's going to show a different side of me for sure. I'm hoping. They can going to be locked in a little more. I got some time. I kind of feel like I've been a pussy on the waiver wire in the last few years, and it's always been kind of or not going out there, not like I'll look and then totally like end up spacing it and not fully getting it. But I'm going to lock in, and I hope to change those numbers around for sure. So I think that's kind of a little bit more of my play style where I could use some some more action.
And there's definitely going to be more action to be had on the wire this year with that one less bench spot. Another part of action is price enforcing. There's 2 different ways you can price enforce an auction. One is you can price enforce to a market, right? So say you've got CMC at 45 and that's your market value for him. And so if CMC is below that value, you're just going to push it up to make sure that people are paying market value. So that, let's just say someone throws them out first bid, right? And it just kind of stalls at that 31 range. You're not going to let it sit at 31 because you know CMC is worth at least 45, right? And then the specific opponent, right? Let's say Thomas is true to his word and goes and drafts Chase and Burrow, right? He's got Chase in hand for 70. Are we going to let Burrow go to him at 21? Or are we going to start jacking that up, right? And then you have another variant of that is Chargers, right? It's not a secret that I love Vlad. I don't think it's a secret that you love Vlad, right? So if we end up bidding each other up, right, that's another one of those. I know you're a Charger fan. You know I'm a Charger fan. When you think about the price enforcing strategies, whether it be enforcing market prices or enforcing specific opponents to play a certain direction, is that part of your game going into draft day?
That is going to be something I'm going to leave for all you guys because that's when how you get your hand caught in the cookie jar. And if I'm having a few drinks, I get my hand caught in that cookie jar. It's nothing worse than I've done that before, and it's like your heart is beating because everything you just prepared for is about to go out the window, and you're going to have to scratch right then and there. A few drinks in while you're on the clock, so you're just like, please, someone, like, I'll Venmo you $100 to bet on this guy right now. It's like, so I don't want that happened to me before. I don't want that to happen again. It really does throw off your draft. So but a few drinks in, all bets are off. Anything that I say, all bets are off. So I might have my hand caught in the cookie jar, but I hope not to.
All right, yeah, I hear you. I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar a couple times, and it's not a good feeling. And last year is no secret. I was on tilt early, and I was just jamming my hand in the cookie jar, and not fun. So with you guys having so many people, I think we're up to 9, if that number holds, drafting in the same room. Do you feel like it's an advantage to be in person, or do you feel like it's an advantage to be drafting remotely?
Interesting advantage. I love being with the squad. I'm really excited to be drafting with everyone. I got my flight as soon as I heard Brendan was coming out. I'm like, what? I'm over here,
big name. Oh yeah.
Yeah, big name. He's flying out all the way from Boston. I'm like, what? I could hop on a 2-hour direct draft with the boys. So I'm really excited to do that. But I think, that comes to some territories. I'm home with everyone's family. They're not going to try and take some shots, and it's kind of more low key, and I can still lock in and focus on the draft. When it's like, per se, maybe just Graham and I here, it's a little more, everyone, they have so much action going on. It's kind of hard you feel like you're not really with them because you're not there the whole time, but at the same time, you can lock in and see what you're going to do and make sure your internet doesn't go out.
Yeah, so just to take another step back, I wasn't 100% sure. Are you saying that you feel like the in-person people have an advantage by reading each other, or are you saying just the chaos of that night is going to put them at a disadvantage?
The chaos could put them at a disadvantage overall.
Okay.
I think also it could put them at a disadvantage, but it could be more fun, just celebrating when you're getting your guys or going up against someone. And when I see Jay, so I'll know when someone's starting to lock in. One, when they start bidding on people. But when I see Jay lock in the computer, for some reason I bring up Jay. I feel like he always
Yeah.
Those are my guys. But yeah, when he starts locking in, I'll know, hey, yo, chill out, bro, chill out. At least I can be there to hopefully kind of nudge him the other direction, like a little sheepdog kind of deal.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point you bring up. Body language is a huge tell in real life. At the poker table, you throw the slide, put the glasses on, pull the cap down, and just not move a muscle. But when you're strapped to your computer for 3 hours, you're going to be giving off tells. So, yeah. The last question I have is, do you think Dom has an advantage drafting in person by not being part of the friend group? So he's that fresh guy to the table. Nobody knows his tells, and he doesn't really know anybody else's tells. But because he's that fresh guy dropped in there, he kind of is observing from a little bit more neutral angle, whereas you're already keyed into Jay, right? And so if Jay's trying to think one step ahead, he might lean in intentionally to try to get you guys off right, where that's going to go straight over Dom's head because he doesn't know, Jason he knows Hunter. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. Do you feel like Dom has an advantage or a disadvantage?
I'm going to put Dom at an advantage, and here's why.
Okay.
Dom, I don't think he gives a fuck. I do not think where we're all this is a big deal, studying, listening to podcasts, doing this. I think he's already into sports for his own reasons, and that's just kind of coming natural to him. And then when it comes to this draft, he just knows, we're kind of like the kids on the short bus that are really nice. He's really nice to us, but he knows they ain't beat me at tic-tac-toe, So I don't think he cares a lot and is stressing or putting much into it to where he knows he's going to come to the draft. He's going to get some good players and at least build a team that Luke can do nothing with throughout the year and still get a lot of wins and still go to the playoffs and still be in the conversation of getting a championship. And that's awesome for them. They got a good thing going. I think they'll be a serious contender this year, and I think they're going to have a great draft like they always have.
Yeah, no, I definitely see your point, and I tend to agree. I think that neutral player who doesn't have the same level of emotional investment that the rest of the team does, it's an advantage. You don't have the juices flowing. The heart rate might not be skyrocketing through the ceiling. And then, in theory, you got Luker doing research in Japan and Dom doing, whatever Dom does. But I hear you. You mentioned fly fishing earlier. I feel like fishing is one of those things that would lend its skills to the auction draft. You've got the patience, you've got the long duration of keeping your focus and keeping your eye on the prize. Do you feel like your fishing experience helps you in the auction room?
Yes. I feel like that's what kind of made me hit the ground swimming when I hit in the auction room. I mean, I don't know. I guess so. Patience, except for when I have some drinks, which I normally once I start having some drinks, I feel like all bets are off. Yeah. And patience is gone, and I'm like, what the heck? This person's, and that's when I'm putting my hand in the cookie jar. I'm getting in. I want to get, or maybe I haven't been betting recently and I want to get in on the action, I would say it does help, but I'm still a human being, and I think when drinks come in, all bets are off. And I think but it does help me keep the eye on the prize. I know my guys, and when they're up there, I'm going to be locked in and I'm going to be betting, and I'll probably go over what everyone else is willing to pay because that's who I want on my team. I got to do it.
Yeah, it's a game at the end of the day, and it's fun to have fun. And I hear you on getting your guys. It's a good strategy, especially if you're trying to have fun. Another strategy that I just kind of want to touch on real quick before we hop over to the next segment, and I'm losing my place just a tad here, but I would say the idea of tracking how much alcohol has always been kind of fun to me, right? If we could just kind of get somebody breathalyzing everybody at the party, that would be an interesting thing to track. And that's what I was trying to segue towards, to put everybody on notice. Database Ken is on the loose this year. The draft will be recorded. I will be abstracting every bid, every time, every bid that's made, every nomination that's made. That data will be abstracted off of this draft this year and for every draft they're forward. And of course, it'll be published for everyone to mess with next year if they want to. So with that data being out there for next year, who do you think is going to be the person that has the highest percentage of winning bids on the player that they nominated? So let's say I put up Lad McConkey, and then there's just a 0% chance I'm going to let anyone else get it. So who's going to have the highest nomination to? Yeah.
With Jay and Casey.
So Jason, all right, I like it. So
Casey as well.
Casey, okay. So we got Jay and Casey, and we'll see what the data says because it's coming.
But yeah, keep that in the history books. I like that you're doing that. It's like what the NFL does. Go to your film room and you study, and that's what you got to do. Seeds and that data will show something.
We're gonna have PFF grades for every drafter. Who's your favorite player to draft this year, Evan?
My favorite player to draft this year, I want to say someone to throw everyone off, but it's a big question. It's a big tell. I want to hear everyone's, of course, but my favorite, I guess, would have to be Bijan. I want to start running back unlike last year.
All right. You have Bijan above Jamar? Like, let's say Jamar is going for 70. He's the first one nominated, and somebody else wants Bijan real bad. Are you going above that 70 tier?
Yeah, I'm going above that 70 tier.
All right. So let's take them to the elite ceiling in the running back class. We've got CMC coming off just a bummer of a season. He's RB5, RB4, depending on who you ask, going in the 40s potentially. How high is too high to go with Mr. CMC?
I'm thinking 50. Well, you know what I saw this morning? I was at a meeting, and my boss just always has like something on the SportsCenter thing.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. just got traded to the 49ers today for pending tryout or pending a physical,
yeah.
Now on the Niners. So we'll see how that plays out. But I mean, I think CMC obviously is a glass cannon, but I think anything under 50, you go and get that guy for sure. Anything under 50, I mean, he's when he's on the field, he's making money, he's magic, he's making something happen, and I think that's a guy you want on your team that when you have him started, and it's maybe he's playing on a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, you're excited to have that guy going. He's your Monday night guy. You're fucking stoked. You don't know what you're gonna get, but you could get something amazing in a game-winning performance. So that's someone that you want to have on your team. Who else did you just say?
I have no idea. I just wanted to take a little bit of time and just say that Brian Robinson Jr. going over to San Francisco. That's breaking news to me, so I'm going to try and process that in real time. We got Corey Krosky Merritt going to the moon after Brian Robinson is officially out. And we got Austin Eckler hanging around there somewhere in space, right?
Yep. That's what I was thinking. Are they maybe going to try to make a play for someone else, or they have that much faith in their guy that they have? I don't think they're going to have that much faith in Austin Eckler, but I think they're a new guy that they just got. Who did you just say it was? It's actually me.
If you're asking another running back, I know they got Chris Rodriguez in there behind Eckler and Bill. But yeah, they're definitely going to be carrying more than 3 running backs. So I'm not sure about the depth on that one. Going in the other, sorry.
I was just going to say, I feel like Brian Robinson kind of fell for me instead of like that starting good role at the Commanders, Redskins, whatever. And then all of a sudden now he's with CMC. Like, what's that going to look like? I know they don't want to run CMC to the ground like Carolina did to him, but at the same time, what is that going to look like? We don't know. Yeah. So it's a risk. It's a risk.
Absolutely. And I did not know that news going into that question. So I think that totally reframes the whole CMC ceiling. So I totally agree with you, right? That I think there's still that glass cannon ceiling to him, but the Brian Robinson coming over into town is definitely going to start making us ask questions. Where do we put these two guys? CMC come down. Brian Robinson probably still comes down. So other players that we might be down on, the older guys, Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 11, $31. Devontae Adams, wide receiver 15 for 26, and Mike Evans at wide receiver 13 for around $29. Are you in on any of the old guys this year?
I am. I have a big heart on for Mike Evans. I think that guy's a fucking monster receiver. I love how he goes and gets the ball. He's consistent every year, and I don't think he's been consistent every year. It's like, why is he going to all of a sudden not be consistent this year? They need him. He's a big part of that offense. And
Yeah.
I'm high on Mike. Tyreek, as everyone knows, I had him play paid like fuck ton for him last year. Did not pan out. I think obviously he's got that speed. He's got talent. How much is he going for?
I've got him down for 31 wide receiver 11, but I would imagine in our league that probably goes a little higher than that. So I would probably put him closer like the 35 to low 40 range.
And I think that could be good. I wish, if I would have got him last year, maybe at the more 35 range, I wouldn't have been so man, he was horrible. But for how much I paid for him, it was not what I was expecting to get some big games out of him. And it was really just kind of mediocrity. So I don't know. And it seems like he's big into the social media and whatnot, which is a cool aspect. But at the same time, I feel like he's locked in on other things and maybe seems like his heart is out. But who knows? The media is misleading, and who knows? He could be amazing. And I think Devontae Adams, I think he's amazing at $26 too. At the end of the year last year, he was going off.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's going bananas. So
yep.
So you know what? I think you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but if they know good tricks to begin with, they're going to be good.
Absolutely. And yeah, each one of those guys, we know what they're bringing to the table, and they've got that track record. Who doesn't have the track record are these Kansas City wide receivers. You, owner of Xavier Worthy, I was the owner of Rashee Rice. How are you treating those two guys this year? Who's your favorite between the two?
Wow. I guess I see Rashee Rice here for $9 and Xavier for 21. I'm going to have to lead more on the value out of Rashee Rice. I think he's going to be the dominant number one all-around receiver on that team, even though he should be in prison. I'm just kidding. But I think he is going to be the more dominant receiver. Is he going to get suspension at all? I feel like that would play in.
Yeah, to me, it's a little unclear. I know that there was some speculation that he was going to get 4 at the beginning of the year, but then they found out that the Chargers are playing Kansas City week 1, so they had to make sure that he was good to play against them. And then they're talking about maybe like a 6 to 11 game suspension mid-year, but there's kind of not really a strong precedent for that type of thing. So it's up in the air, right? So it's like you're buying him. He was a high-end wide receiver 1 producer before Pat took out the old knee last year. And so, if you're willing to take up the risk on a guy coming back from an injury who has a very, very high ceiling with the best quarterback in the league, $9 sounds like a pretty good value. So I like your heads up on that one.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I will say Xavier Worthy, I do like how he's a Swiss Army knife, can do a bunch of different plays, and he's got that speed, big play factor downfield that like any moment he can have a 60-yard bomb, and that's what you need. You can always use a 60-yard bomb. But yeah, anyways.
Yep. So another thing you might need is a pass catcher in the Chicago offense. We got DJ Moore, wide receiver 21, at that 22 mark. He's a known stud. We got Rome Odunze, wide receiver 40 at 9. Is he going to have a sophomore slump or some sophomore success? The tight end sensation, Colson Loveland at tight end 18, maybe $1. And then we got Luther Burden, the third, wide receiver 66 for $1, second-round pedigree. Do you like any of these guys, or is just the answer avoid because it's going to be too spread out?
So I want to stay far away. I'm not a huge Caleb Williams guy. I was last year. I was high on him. He really made me eat my own words. I was one of the guys.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be great. I think all the hype is worth it. Oh, well, he paints his nails. Who cares? People that can be feminine can also play football. No, they cannot. He proved that to us last year. I don't think. I want to stay away from all these guys. I've always talked shit on DJ Moore. Everyone's always hyped about him. Even though I lost $20 betting against him last year, Sam, I was wrong about that, and I'll eat my own words on that. But I still can't get it up for DJ Moore. Rome does seem like a good guy. I think he still would be the best fantasy producer of what I'm looking at here, besides possibly Colson Loveland. If Colson Loveland goes for $1, I mean, with this now 2 tight ends that you can now start 2 tight ends. I mean, that's a big deal. This guy could be sick. We've seen what Cole Kmet is there. He's a red zone target. I think that could be sick, and I'm kind of bummed you highlighted it on here because Actually everyone in this league never fly something under this league is the whole thing, and that's what's cool about this podcast. Everyone knows it's not like, but I think Colson Loveland could be the best bang for your buck out of those guys. But I'm probably staying far away from Chicago receivers. I didn't see a lot of their games last year because I had no one on their team.
Yep. All right, I'm reading you loud and clear. Staying away from those Bears. Take this next one a little to the side. I got the bullet point says football media is shit. Filler content is choking out good reporting. And below that, what sources can we trust? Yeah, I had in mind just kind of like the broader media, right? Sources, beat writers, the suckers that are on YouTube, putting out content. But it occurred to me as I was reading it right now that I'm one of those suckers that's putting out content, right? So same question, right? The broader sources, and then my sources. Do you feel like I'm a trustworthy source? Do you feel like there's any trustworthy source out there? Am I putting out rankings to try to pull the rug on everybody, or what's your feeling on football media in the fantasy football space?
Well, football media is tough because I feel like in the last few years, with social media on the rise and fantasy football always being a fun thing that guys like to do, it's become a lot more popular. And it's a lot more people that are just trying to make a buck and get views. And so they'll say anything, say some crazy stuff. I like to go straight to good sources. And I feel like everyone like you can say anything, And I just not to put you on blast here, you do a lot of research, but you haven't really had it pay off as well. And I mean, you have gone to the farm playoffs, to beat me in the playoffs at one time. But I mean, you haven't really had it pay off. And I feel like a lot of the stuff, sometimes a lot of like smart people is the wrong stuff. So I would not listen to everyone. And a lot of people that are high on people, I'm like, I listen to my own gut and go from what I've seen them do, like producing fantasy points in general. DJ Moore, I hate to pick on him. Other people I'm just not that high on. And I also, when it comes to the media, there's people. Yeah, like I wanted to say, like you sent that thing about Ladd in the chat today when I was watching that. This guy, he goes, it was one of the best.
Yeah.
He's literally said, he was like, it was the best route he's ever seen, and it was in practice. The TV fell down, everyone on offense was like, it's like best routes he'd ever seen. Is how he said that was like he was just saying it was a really good route, and it was a really great route, but. He that's how people are. Best route I've ever seen. It's like, I guarantee it was a good route. I bet you there was some talent in it. Ladd is sick. It's probably had some Keenan Allen-esque play into it for sure. But best route he's ever seen. It's like, okay, I'm not like I'm with the hype, but I'm not buying it that much. You know what I mean? And that's just I'm just picking on that as an example. That could be a lot of different people. And I am high on Ladd. That was the best route we've ever seen. And that's what I have to say about that.
No, that's a solid point there. So touching back about the idea of success, right, and like research, I'm slow to acknowledge that this small sample size sport has a lot of variety in it, right, or variety of outcomes. Let's put it that way. And I'm definitely a known user of my own, aura, right? I get high on my own supply. And then back to that, and it gets me in trouble, right? And back to that beat reporter, it's Daniel Popper who put out that little, blurb, right? And I listened to him, and he's one of the sources I've been keeping up with the Chargers this year. And he's good because he puts out a lot of content, but at the same time, it's like, I know the guy went to school for journalism, right? And so it's like, he's not necessarily the most in-depth in the weeds with all the, he knows all the players, he can talk about concepts and all that kind of fun stuff, right? But I'm pretty sure if we lined up and played some fact football, right, that I might be even putting his ankles, on blast at that point, right? So, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's a super valid point. Let's pick it up just a tad here, right? We're going to look at some. Yeah, you got something to say?
No, I was
okay. All right, man. So we got some fun wide receiver rooms to look at. Who's the most valuable wide receiver in Green Bay? Is it Matthew Golden at wide receiver 35, $10? Jaden Reed, wide receiver 48 at $7. Is he maybe a Stephon Diggs light? Romeo Dobbs at that wide receiver 64, super value for maybe $1. And then are you on Tucker Kraft this year at tight end 11 for about $5?
I am high off Matthew Golden coming out of Texas. He tore it up over there, and they played a lot of tough teams. But I feel like, like I said, Jaden Reed, he's proven to be a good player down there. I feel like he was a startable flex, if not receiver 3, maybe even 2. Like I know he went off on me last year. He gave me an L. I think I still had him, and I think I got an L to him in another league. But he went off a few games, and he is a difference maker there, and that's proven. And I think they know that. So why are they don't fix it? It ain't broke type deal. So I think I'm high on Jaden Reed. If you can really get him for $7, I think that's a steal. I think I would go for Jaden Reed over Stephon Diggs in this time. Tucker Kraft could be that good $5 tight end where you can spend more on your receivers, more on your running backs, still have a solid tight end. But then maybe you can always be looking around. Maybe pick up 2 tight ends in that scenario because you can play them both. Anyways, that's what I'd say about that.
All right, most valuable wide receiver in Jacksonville: Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver 8 for about 40, or Travis Hunter for teens, hopefully maybe 20s.
I do not know everything, but I think, like I said, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is sick. That guy is sick. Yep. He's an animal. He gives me Megatron vibes big time, and I think he's just warming up. And I think that's why he's $38. People know he's good. They're going to be throwing to him. Travis Hunter, I'm an Ashley Genty kind of guy. Fuck Travis Hunter. I think his wife's going to take all his money. I think he's got a lot more going on than just football. And I'm going to talk trash on Travis Hunter. I don't think he's going to do good.
All right. That's a hot – we're about to find out, right? He's one of those controversial guys. The New Orleans Saints, is there any value in that room, or are you staying away?
There's a lot of value there. I think there's a lot of value. They're going to have to throw the ball to someone, I'm not a guy that – I don't like having guys on bad teams, but they're going to have to air the ball out to someone. Rashid, when he was healthy, he did wonders for me last year, and I like that deep ball threat. He's fast. He can break a tackle, and he can burn a guy to the end zone. And that's all you need. One-on-one burn. He's going all the way. It's a game-changing. It's like, okay, if he's having a 15-point week, that's a good week. I'm taking that to the bank all day. And Olave, I wasn't high on him for – how much did Thomas pay for him last year? Do we know?
I can look that up if you want to keep going.
I was just gonna say I think he paid like 30s or 40s, which I was gross, and I would not say that for Olave. But at $10 here, I think that is a good deal.
All right. Well, there's no chance I'm gonna look it up that fast, but yeah, I think it was like high 20 or something like that. It was the auto draft. And I'm pulling it up right now. It was 29 to Mr. Unbreakable. It was the wide receiver 12 overall, which is surprising that wide receiver 12 was that cheap. But get on the Wi-Fi for Gipton. Good old Thomas Wright, one of the shittiest wide receivers last year. So not so shitty wide receivers. Detroit. We got Sun God, wide receiver 4, 40-something. Jameson Williams, wide receiver 28, 17. And we got Sam Laporta at 4 at about $16. Who's most valuable in that room?
I'm in on all these guys. Most value, shoot. Could be J-Mo. I think it could be maybe J-Mo, or maybe not. I think if J-Mo has the same year he had last year, I think that $17 is a good value. I think if Sun God $40 did last year, I think maybe more towards 35, 40 is actually pretty spot on because he is great. He's an awesome player, great locker room guy. Love him. But again, $40 is $40. But no, he's one of those guys when you have Sun God out there, you're stoked. You're excited. That Sunday night, that Monday night going in, you're like, he's a sick guy to have. So, they're all great. I love the Lions offense. Even Montgomery, my boy
Gibbs,
my boy Sonic Gibbs. I think their offense. I love their offense. I think all these guys are going to be, and that's just way more fun. It's like this offense compared to the Chicago Bears offense was like, everyone knows the Bears fucking suck.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about those guys. I think they're all great value. Go for them all.
Detroit's good. Draft good players. Let's go a little deeper now. These are some, will these rookies ever get picked up this year? We got Taj Brooks in Cincinnati, Kyle Monangai in Chicago, Cam Scatterboo fighting for his life with that injury up in New York Giants. Jordan James with the live news of Brian Robinson Jr. probably not going to get picked up this year. And then Savion Williams, yes, Hunter, I know he's a wide receiver, but I would say if Chris Brooks and whoever the other guy who's injured doesn't get their stuff together, he might have a role. Any of those names feel like they stick out to you?
Cam Scatterboo definitely sticks out to me. Taj Brooks definitely sticks out to me. I think that's going to be – these guys are all going to be people – you know how the running backs are on this team. Yeah. This Jordan James. All these people are going to be rostered. They're going to be stashed. And they're definitely have upside potential. I actually think Taj Brooks is low-key my favorite on that list. But Scatterboo could be something to watch for. And you have Jordan James, too. You never know what's going to happen. But now that backfield has a lot of people going on.
Yeah, love it. So stay away from Taj Brooks. He's Evan's guy. All right, Evan, we are at the heralded feel it or fuck it section, and we're a little deep into the podcast, so we're going to try and keep this thing moving with the quickness. Nick Chubb, RB38, $4. Is him being washed over exaggerated?
Feel it. No, he's a fucking tank. He's a beast.
Love it. Jackson Dart, QB36, should be the immediate starter.
I say fucking start him. You know what I mean? Let's do it. I think we'll see. I say give him all he's got. If he fails, throw Wilson in. Who cares? What do you have to lose?
Go Big Blue. Backup Kirk Cousins is the bologna sandwich of the NFL.
I feel it.
Feel it? You think the Rams are hungry for some bologna sandwiches?
Yes, I think he's ready to go. I never thought Kirk Cousins was that good, but you know what? In situations, he's a situational quarterback. In certain situations, he's good. If he's got to put up some points quick and he's able to call his own plays, I think he's good. If he's under a certain system, I think he's a one-track mind kind of guy. And fuck it.
Got it. Quinshon Judkins, unsigned, running back 31 for $9. Will he be a worthwhile starter at some point this season?
At some point, yes. Feel that all the way, for sure.
All right. Got it. Eagles offense will raise Jahan Dotson or John Metchie III to draftable statuses this year.
I feel it. It's a lot of people there, but I think they're great receivers, especially Jahan. I think they're amazing, so I want to give them a chance to feel it.
Got it. Torrey Horton, wide receiver 94, will be the starter opposite of JSN in Seattle.
I'm going to say fuck it. Fuck it quick because I do not know who that guy is. Fuck him.
You got it. Olamide Zacchaeus will start ahead of Luther Burden at wide receiver 68 this season, like he has all preseason.
I say fuck it. I think that's crazy that they did that. Where you went and got Luther, and then you're starting this guy. I'll never understand that. I say fuck that. Fuck it.
Got it. Troy Franklin, wide receiver 89, is going to be wide receiver 2 in Denver after Denver moved on from Devon Bailey.
I feel that all the way. I think Troy Franklin, he was a good plug-in, like waiver wire pickup play that could produce some points. And the Bo Nix, as he was feeling it throughout the season, his stock went way more up. And I think they're just going to be slinging it as we go. So I feel that all day.
Yeah, Breece Hall, RB19 at $23. Is he a buy low target this year?
Yeah, buy low target big time, even though I think that's great. Like running backs are, dime a dozen in here. He's a great running back. I'm all about that guy.
The Californication of Boise is a good thing. Feel it or fuck it.
Fuck it. It's fucked our housing market and a lot of stuff up. But now that I own a house, I guess maybe feel it. Keep driving down price.
There we go. I have good old NIMBY, not my backyard. Best burger in Boise is one of these three: Big Judd's, Sid's Garage, or Holy Cow.
Wow, I love this question. I'm feeling all of them, but I'm going to say Sid's Garage. They do a burger with hot Cheetos in it, and it is insane. It has like this cheese sauce, hot Cheetos, double stacked. It's insane. I'm gonna go with Sid's Garage. Even though Big Judd's was on Man vs. Food, they do this challenge. It's like this huge burger, And Manford's food guy, I think he barely got it down, but you got it. They do have Smack and Burgers though, for sure. That's near campus, and that was kind of more of. I used to go there back in the day.
Love it. Boise is the best city in Treasure Valley.
So to me it is, but the up and coming city is Meridian, Idaho. Like if you back to where when I first moved here, like the area in Boise that used to be popping is a ghost town, and all they're building. There's like the same guy who built the Bellagio built like this village in Meridian, and this area like Meridian moms and their kids to go hang out, and then now they're building the Bellagio guys coming back and they're building another one in this other area of Meridian.
Yeah.
So I'm capitalizing off all that for like work money, but at the same time, Meridian's starting to pop. Meridian's a more popping area for sure. It's interesting watching that grow.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for those Meridian moms helping the economy. Let's take a moment and transition to space time here, Ev. We're going to stick with our theme of this early podcast, health. We can take it mental, physical, spiritual, health. Evan, what comes to mind when I say that word?
What comes to mind and that hits to me is diet.
Okay.
I love like going back to that hot Cheetos and cheeseburger. It's like if I go stop there and have lunch, I'm not gonna work for the rest of the day because I'm just gonna be like so laid back and bloated and not want to do it. I don't even want to think, let alone walk. Let alone move. So I think diet has really been a big thing for me, and this last year, and just kind of eating more healthy and how much you are what you eat. And that really it helps your mental, it helps your physical. And then also to me, like doing something physical every day, going to work out, that's what really helps me. Is like before going to work out, it's like In-N-Out Burger sounds great. And then it's like if you go work out, run a mile, it's like at the end of that mile, the last thing you want is something greasy and food like that. Like you want to eat something good and healthy, and it really helps you kind of keep on that path, and it's all connected.
Absolutely, man. I hear that one. I don't know if you're in the same club with me with the runs, but I've never been on a run. Well, slight caveat, because I've rolled my ankle a few times. People know I've got weak ankles. So besides one, I rolled my ankle, but all the other times, pretty good percentage there. The non-rolled ankle runs. It sucked getting started, but at the end of it, you just feel great. I was like, wow, I love the fact that I just ran, right? And I hear you on that food thing, right? It's so much easier to stick to the diet after you get that workout in the morning, right? So are you a big cardio guy, or are you a big weightlifter guy, or are you just kind of mixing it up these days?
So I do curls for the girls, kind of deal like I want to kind of gain weight and gain muscle and like look good is what I want to do, but I also want to stay fit. And like Graham and I this summer, like we trained for that Spartan race, and we have another one coming up. I might go down to California, which would be awesome, on the Spartan race. Those guys, it's a 5K in it, so you have to be ready for some cardio. So I've been training on cardio, and it's been really good for me as someone like in PE in school. I walked. Like, even when you're supposed to, I ran sometimes, but I was like hanging out with the cool kids walking because I didn't give a fuck. And running sucks, but it's healthy for you, and it's really not that hard once you really just do it and start doing it a few times. It's like shit. Okay, I can actually do this, and it's not that bad. So I think it's a really great thing for you. It's like it makes you sleep so much better. There's just like so many good things that like come with it that it's just good to stay in healthy habits. Especially as we get older. I'm the youngest one in the crew by far, and I just turned 30, and yeah, healthy habits is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not saying I'm perfect at it by any means. I'm not, but yeah, I've been a lot better at it recently, and it's great.
Yeah, on the diet side, for me, moving up to the Pacific Northwest and having a change in scenery when it comes to the grocery stores was kind of like a weird thing, right? I'd been baptized in the way of Fred Meyer, right? So I knew that was there. And then we got Chuck's out here, like kind of like a health food for. I don't know if you guys have a Chuck's out where you guys are at. And then we recently got like a Trader Joe's somewhere up here, and then Beaverton, right? That's like west of Portland, has that bigger Asian population. So we got like the 99, the H Mart, a couple other kind of essential parts of our family's diet. So when it comes to grocery store choice, what's your go-to on like the day-to-day?
Fred Meyer is actually kind of where I go. But I do go to Trader Joe's sometimes, and it's so funny. I went to this this new store today that I don't normally go to, and there was a bunch of hot chicks there, and I was like, you know what? Because that is a place like all girls go shopping and hot girls go shopping. And it's there if they have their guard down, while they're looking at something, you can like make fun comment about what they're looking at, or couple grab something from a high shelf, and you never know what's gonna have. I've had some good, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop going to this whack ass Fred Meyer, and I'm gonna start going to these stores where the hot girls go and shop. Like I don't know if you ever went to a Target before. I know it doesn't matter to you, but like I don't like the stuff at Target, but it's crazy how many good looking girls are there, and I kind of go for more of capitalizing at those healthy places where the girls shop. Is what I'm now looking to.
Okay, so you're saying you are what you eat, but then it also you're seeing a correlation that like the higher quality food, the higher quality female. That's what's going on up in Boise.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm correlating. I'm like, whoa, okay. So yeah, so the better looking girls go for the better food for you, and it correlates. So it's like, man, I need to jump in this even further.
Love it. So back to the health bit. It sounds like we got a pretty good idea on your diet and exercise. You doing anything for your mental health these days, Ev?
Mental health, I feel like that does go back to diet and exercise, but getting out and fishing and just kind of doing stuff more for me. And like work could be a lot, and just those weekends or just kind of even just hanging out with friends and like playing games with friends could be a big time mental relief, where you can be yourself and just joke and laugh and not have to be focused on this or that and making deadlines, and I think that's really important. I love to say, and I think having some connect, some spiritual connectivity, meditating could be really cool and be really out here. That's really helpful for you. I don't do it, but I would love to get into it.
Yeah. So let's stick on that fishing thing. So do you have any fishing plans coming up here? Because I know we're kind of in the middle, kind of coming out of summer, going into fall. I know nothing about fishing. So where are you at with the fishing right now?
So right now, I've really this summer been getting into fly fishing. So that's been really cool. It's more like rivers. Mm-hmm. It's over lakes. But it actually, the fishing season around here, the steelhead season, which are these like massive trout and salmon, they're like half salmon, half trout, massive fish, hits in late October and November. It's more of like a winter type deal. All so right. I'm kind of practicing up gearing up for that. And I've never caught a steelhead, but I want to go out and get one.
All right. And then you have the garage freezer going yet for all of your stuff you catch, or is that something you got on your Christmas wish list?
It's on the Christmas wish list for sure. Yeah, that would be awesome. Right now, I have a lot of room in my freezer in the house, so I'll fill that up first.
Love it, man. Yeah, that the freezer comes in clutch when you bring in that wild game, and especially with the wild fish. I hope you get that steelhead, Ev. It was a pleasure having you on Out in Space.
Dude, thank you so much. You're really good. It was awesome, and you made it easy and very enjoyable. So I appreciate that.
And I want to give you kudos for the first person to use the booking, let's say, tool that I put out there in the group chat.
It's easy.
Yeah, it helps me out. The idea is to get everybody on the podcast at least once, and then we'll start doing repeats, as we get everybody on. And I get that, we all got lives going on. And so originally I was like, I'll throw it out, for the entire year and get everybody scheduled. But the likelihood that can happen is probably pretty low. So I think with like the weekly emails, I'll just put like a link to it in that, so that, you read through the content, you pop that open, see if there's some availability. I'll be out in Taiwan for the next 2.5 weeks. So I still want to make sure I get that podcast in. And I want to keep it on like a somewhat regular schedule. So we'll be releasing the videos on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And, would just love to get people to use that calendar event. It really helps when we got stuff moving around these days. And thank you, Evan, for using the tools that were provided. Super easy. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a question. What time will it be in Taiwan when you're drafting?
At 11 a.m. So I will have my coffee, my breakfast, and I'll be settled in. And I won't have my, triple screen set up, but I might be able to borrow a second one. And yeah, I'll be locked in. So that's again something that I was kind of non-negotiable on the travel dates. We need to leave the 30th alone.
For sure, 100%. I like that. But yeah, hey guys, jump on. This is awesome. Ken made it super fun, very informational. I feel like I learned a lot from it. So thanks again for having me on. This is awesome. Can't wait to come back.
Yeah, good to have you, Evan. In a universe empty or overflowing with star stuff, I'm glad to have shared this moment with you now. You are loved from here to fantasy football till death.
You're loved too.